Remembering Terry Reid, the Superlungs who almost joined Led Zeppelin. Imagine a world where one of the most iconic rock bands of all time, Led Zeppelin, had a different lead singer. A world where Terry Reid, a musician revered by the likes of Mick Jagger and Aretha Franklin, took the stage as the frontman of the legendary group. But here's where it gets interesting. Reid was actually offered the chance to join Led Zeppelin, but he turned it down. And this is the part most people miss. He suggested Robert Plant and John Bonham from the Band of Joy to Jimmy Page instead. Reid's decision to decline the offer and pursue his solo career has left many wondering what could have been. But let's take a step back and explore the fascinating life and career of this artist's artist who has just passed away at the age of 75. With a voice that could soar to mighty and soulful heights, earning him the nickname Superlungs, Reid released several cult favorite albums during the late 60s and 70s. His music was a unique blend of folk, rock, and R&B, which garnered high praise from critics and esteem from his peers. But despite his talent and influence, Reid never achieved mainstream success. So, what went wrong? Was it his decision to turn down Led Zeppelin, or was it the fact that his music was ahead of its time? These are questions that have sparked debate among music fans and critics alike. But one thing is certain: Terry Reid's music has stood the test of time. And his legacy continues to inspire new generations of artists and fans. Reid's story is a testament to the power of perseverance and passion in the face of adversity. Despite struggling with health issues and personal setbacks, he continued to create music that was true to himself. And though he may not have achieved the level of fame he deserved, his impact on the music world is undeniable. As we reflect on Reid's life and career, we are reminded that success is not just about achieving fame and fortune, but about staying true to one's art and passion. So let's take a moment to appreciate the music and legacy of Terry Reid, a true original and a pioneer in the world of rock music. But here's the controversy. Some might argue that Reid's decision to turn down Led Zeppelin was a mistake, and that he would have achieved greater success with the band. Others might say that his solo career was more authentic and meaningful, and that he was better off without the pressures of being in a high-profile band. What do you think? Should Reid have taken the chance and joined Led Zeppelin? Or was his solo career the right path for him? Share your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. As we say goodbye to this talented musician, we are left with a sense of wonder and curiosity about what could have been. But one thing is certain: Terry Reid's music and legacy will live on, inspiring and influencing new generations of artists and fans. And this is the part that will spark debate. What if Reid had taken the offer and joined Led Zeppelin? How would the course of rock history have been altered? These are questions that will continue to fascinate and intrigue us, and that will keep Terry Reid's memory alive for years to come. Remembering Terry Reid, the British rock legend who inspired Led Zeppelin, the Rolling Stones. The music world has lost a true gem. Terry Reid, a British artist celebrated for his remarkable and powerful voice, affectionately dubbed Superlungs, has passed away at the age of 75, as confirmed by his representative in the UK. In recent months, he had been undergoing treatment for cancer, a battle that he faced with courage. Despite never achieving a chart-topping hit in the UK, Reid's albums, particularly the critically acclaimed 1973 release River, have left an indelible mark on the music scene. His talent was so highly regarded that both Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple sought him out to be their lead vocalist, but he declined both offers. In 1968, the legendary Aretha Franklin remarked, "There are only three things happening in England: the Rolling Stones, the Beatles, and Terry Reid," highlighting his significant influence during that era. Born and raised in Cambridgeshire, Reid began his musical journey as a singer, guitarist, and songwriter in his teenage years, initially performing with a local band called the Red Beats. His career took off when he supported Peter J. and the Jaywalkers, leading to an invitation to join the latter group. By the age of 16, he was already touring with the Rolling Stones, sharing the stage with iconic acts like Ike Tina Turner and the Yardbirds. After establishing himself as a solo artist and forming a friendship with Jimi Hendrix, Reid once again found himself supporting the Stones during their US tour. Jimmy Page, the guitarist for the Yardbirds, recognized Reid's talent and invited him to join a new band he was forming. However, Reid turned down the opportunity, citing his commitment to the Stones' US tour. Instead, he recommended Robert Plant, the lead singer of Band of Joy, along with the band's drummer, John Bonham. This recommendation led to the formation of Led Zeppelin, a band that would go on to become one of the most legendary in rock history. Reid later reflected on this decision, stating, "I was intent on doing my own thing. I contributed half the band. That's enough on my part." Reid also declined an offer from Ritchie Blackmore to become the lead singer of Deep Purple after Rod Evans left the band in 1969. He acknowledged the flattering nature of the offer, saying, "Ritchie was one hell of a guitar player, but ultimately chose to pursue his own path. Ian Gillan would eventually take on the role of vocalist for Deep Purple." In his early career, Reid signed a management and recording contract with the influential Mickey Most, who produced his first 2 studio albums. His debut album, Bang Bang, You're Terry Reid, featured a song he penned at just 14 years old, titled Without Expression. This track would later be covered by notable artists such as John Mellencamp, REO Speedwagon, and Crosby, Stills, Nash Young. Throughout his career, Reid supported numerous high-profile acts on tour, including Cream, Fleetwood Mac, and Jethro Tull. However, despite his talent, his albums did not achieve commercial success, leading to a creative split from Most. After a period of uncertainty due to a contractual dispute, Reid returned to the music scene with the release of River in 1973, marking the first of 3 albums he produced during that decade. He relocated to California, but chose to pause his solo career in the 1980s to focus on session work with renowned artists like Bonnie Raitt, Don Henley, and Jackson Browne. In 1991, Reid attempted a comeback with the album The Driver, produced by Trevor Horn. Unfortunately, this effort did not resonate commercially or creatively, and although his cover of the Spencer Davis Group's Gimme Some Lovin' was featured in the soundtrack of the Tom Cruise film Days of Thunder, Reid later described The Driver as unlistenable. Over time, Reid's earlier albums gained a cult following among music enthusiasts and collectors, leading to collaborations with artists such as DJ Shadow and Alabama 3 in his later years. His songs were also covered by notable musicians, including Jack White's band The Raconteurs, Marianne Faithfull, and Chris Cornell. Reid shared an intriguing experience of unreleased sessions with Dr. Dre, who became captivated by Reid's album Seed of Memory and invited him to collaborate in the studio, a fascinating experience for the artist. Despite his health challenges, Reid continued to tour until he had to cancel a recent series of performances due to his cancer treatment. A crowdfunding campaign was launched to assist with his medical expenses, expressing that Terry's spirit remains strong, and he's deeply grateful for the outpouring of care he's already received. Terry Reid is survived by his wife, Annette. Musicians and fans alike have paid tribute to him, including Joe Bonamassa, who described Reid as one of the greatest to ever do it and a beautiful person and soul. As we reflect on the legacy of Terry Reid, one can't help but wonder, what might have been if he had accepted those pivotal offers from Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple? Would the music landscape look different today? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Remembering Terry Reid, the voice who turned down Led Zeppelin. Bold opening statement. Terry Reid, the legendary Superlungs, whose voice could electrify a crowd, and who famously turned down offers from rock giants Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple, has passed away at the age of 75. But here's where it gets controversial. Terry Reid, a name synonymous with soulful power, and a voice that could captivate an audience, has left us. Known affectionately as Superlungs for his extraordinary vocal range and depth, Reid was a musician who chose the road less traveled. He's the man who famously turned down offers from two of the biggest rock bands of all time, Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple. And this is the part most people miss. Reid's journey was not just about saying no to the biggest names in rock. It was about staying true to his artistic vision, even when it meant missing out on massive fame. Reid first burst onto the music scene at just 16 years old, fronting the soulful group Peter J. the Jaywalkers. They supported the Rolling Stones on their 1966 UK tour, an experience that would shape his future in music. Going solo, Reid worked with the legendary Mick, releasing his debut album, Bang Bang, You're Terry Reid, in 1968. But as he later revealed in an interview, Mick's conservatism held me back on those albums. He was going through an identity crisis. He made these great records with the Animals and Donovan. But their music started to evolve, and he didn't move with it. I'd want to try new stuff, and he wouldn't go to the next page. Reid's story takes a fascinating turn when he was asked to join Led Zeppelin. He recounted, Jimmy Page asked me to be the singer in Led Zeppelin, but I had just signed to support the Rolling Stones on their first US tour in 3 years. I told Jimmy he'd have to ask Keith Richards if he wanted me to join. I knew it was a no-go. In 1970, Reid played the Isle of Wight Festival, and in 1971, he opened the inaugural Glastonbury Festival. His band at the time included drummer Alan White and pedal steel player David Lindley, who became a key collaborator on Reid's albums River and Seed of Memory. Reid's River, released in 1973, is a testament to his free-roaming musical spirit. But as he revealed, when I handed in River, they said I'd made a jazz album and they wanted a rock and roll record. So they paid me $20,000 to go away and didn't get behind it. But I love that record because it was the first time I got to do what I wanted to do. Reid's music continued to inspire, with his songs covered by artists such as Crosby, Stills, Nash, Marianne Faithfull, Cheap Trick, The Hollies, and the Raconteurs. His music also found its way into numerous film soundtracks. Reflecting on his career, Reid said, I still play songs from River, and every now and then I have to pop it on, and it's an interesting thing. A lot of records you loved back in the day, they either stand up to the test of time, or they sound dated. Oh, with River, I was coming from somewhere else, and the record still stands up, I humbly think, as something different. That's what was always more important to me. I always wanted to fly my own kite, you know? And this is where it gets controversial. What do you think? Was Reid right to turn down Led Zeppelin and Deep Purple? Did he make the right choice in following his artistic vision? Share your thoughts in the comments below.